Welcome to The Explainer. So, today we're diving headfirst into the world of alchemy. But hold on, we're not trying to turn lead into gold here. No, we're going to use these ancient texts to unlock a pretty profound secret. A secret about us. A key that's been hiding in plain sight this whole time.
Okay, so the alchemists, they love to speak in riddles, right? And this is a big one. They're talking about this mysterious thing, some kind of essential ingredient for the legendary Philosopher's Stone. And here's the weird part. They said it was both completely worthless and priceless at the same time. Super common, but also totally overlooked.
So, what on earth could fit that description? It sounds impossible, doesn't it? Well, we're going to follow the breadcrumbs the alchemists left behind and see if we can crack this ancient mystery together.
And the way they frame this puzzle is it's fascinating. This thing, whatever it is, isn't something you get through a fancy education or a ton of money. In fact, the alchemists are kind of suggesting that worldly success, becoming privileged and learned, actually makes you lose it. It seems like it's tied to this state of innocence or simplicity, something we all start out with but, can easily just toss aside as we get older.
All right, to even begin to crack this riddle, we have to start thinking like an alchemist. And that means we've got to toss out some of our modern definitions and really embrace their unique way of looking at the world, starting with two huge concepts: consciousness and magic.
So, for an alchemist, consciousness isn't just, being awake and aware. No, it's a tangible, active force. Think about it like this. Imagine purifying your focus through meditation, and then you can literally add that focused energy into an experiment, almost like you'd add salt to a recipe. It's a real ingredient in the work of transformation.
And then we have magic. And look, forget everything you think you know about stage tricks and pulling rabbits out of hats. In the alchemical world, magic, with a capital M, is a form of deep, profound knowing. It's this wisdom that works way beyond the limits of everyday logic. It's a way of seeing truths our rational minds just can't quite get to. And this quote right here, wow, it just nails the alchemical worldview perfectly. It's a direct challenge to how most of us think today. They saw reason, the logic our whole society runs on, as a kind of public folly, a distraction. Meanwhile, this intuitive, magical wisdom, that was the real hidden truth.
Okay, so with these tools in our back pocket, consciousness as a real force and magic as this deep wisdom, we can now turn the magnifying glass inward. Why? Because the alchemists were convinced that the grand mystery of the entire cosmos is reflected right inside of you.
The alchemists had this beautiful belief that at the absolute core of every single thing, a person, a plant, even a rock, there is this divine spark, a hidden point of pure light.
They had a name for this spark, the quintessence, or the star. And it's not just a part of you, it's the most essential part of you. It's like the pure divine idea of you, before all the layers of personality and life experience got piled on top. It's your fundamental, truest nature.
So if we all have this divine star inside of us, why don't we feel it all the time, right? Why is it hidden? Well, the alchemists had an answer for that, and it all comes down to a great cosmic imbalance that's playing out not just in the world, but inside our own minds too.
And here it is. This is the central problem they saw. The alchemists basically predicted that relying too much on our intellect and ignoring our intuition would lead to some pretty big problems for the world.
They used these amazing symbols for these two forces, the sun and the moon. Our modern world? We have gone all in on the solar spirit. Logic, technology, rational thought. It's given us incredible things. But in the process, they argued, we've pushed away the intuitive, soulful, lunar way of knowing.
And this isn't just some abstract philosophical idea. They believe this imbalance in the world creates a really deep split inside each and every one of us. Our spirit, that's our active intellect, gets disconnected from our soul, our deep intuitive core. We end up becoming strangers to a huge part of who we are.
So what's the fix? Well, the goal of alchemy isn't to, destroy the intellect or get rid of technology. It's definitely not about choosing the moon over the sun. The real goal is reunification.
Yeah, the entire alchemical great work is about bringing these two separated forces back together into a beautiful, harmonious union.
This sacred marriage is the symbolic healing of that internal split between our rational mind and our intuitive heart. So how do you actually do this? Well, it's a philosophical process, really. First, you just have to see it. You have to admit that this split exists inside you. Then, you have to realize that the intuition you're trying to find again is rooted in that state of innocence, the kind that kids have in spades. And finally, you have to consciously, deliberately shift the power dynamic inside yourself.
And this quote, it just perfectly captures that final critical step. It's not about getting rid of your head, but letting it serve the wisdom of your heart. The logical mind becomes this incredibly powerful tool, but it's guided by the deeper knowing of the soul.
Okay, with all of that as our foundation, we can finally go back to that riddle from the very beginning. And I think you'll find the answer has been hiding in plain sight this whole time.
And here it is, the final, most powerful metaphor they used. The builders of our civilization, in their laser focus on intellect, technology, and reason, that whole solar spirit, they left out a critical piece of the foundation. They forgot the cornerstone.
That mysterious thing from the riddle? It's our intuition. It's our innocence. It's our connection to that lunar soul. Think about it. It's possessed by the meek because they aren't totally consumed by their intellect. Children play with it because they haven't been taught to throw it away yet. And the learned and privileged, they often toss it aside because our society rewards the head and tends to dismiss the wisdom of the heart.
And this brings us to the alchemist's most pointed piece of advice. If you do not find it in your own house, you will find it nowhere. The key isn't in some ancient book or in some faraway place. It's the forgotten cornerstone of your own being. So the question alchemy really leaves us with isn't just what this thing is, but where, inside yourself, have you left it?